Hey guys, and welcome to Walt Express. We're here to help you make the most out of your Disney vacation. Whether you need help planning by one of our excellent travel agents, or you need a step-by-step guide from our blog, we've got you covered. As we go through our time together, make sure you say hello and feel free to ask questions in the comments. I'm Paten, and thank you for being here with me. So tonight, I'm going to discuss all things Disney pins with you guys. First off, I want to say that I'm by no means an expert on Disney pin trading. I'm going to tell you a little bit of history. So, pins have always been present at the Disney parks, but the art of Disney pin trading wasn't introduced to Walt Disney World until 1999 during the Millennium Celebration. Basically, Disney pin trading is by far my favorite hobby to do while I'm at Disney World. I mean, it's so inclusive to everybody. There's no age requirement. There's no height restrictions. It's pretty fun while you're down there. Basically, when you visit Walt Disney World, you'll see cast members and guests walking around with pins. They're going to be displayed a couple different ways. They'll either be on lanyards or side satchels that most of the cast members have, and they're just hooked to their belt. You'll also see some pin boards that are displayed all around the parks and even at the resorts. These boards are usually themed to the location that you find them in. Some of my favorite ones would be at the All-Star Sports. There's a trophy, and it's got all kinds of pins on it that you just walk up and you take one off of and you replace it with one of yours. At Magic Kingdom, there's a pretty cool one at the Big Top Souvenirs in the circus area where the Dumbo ride is. And it's displayed to look like a bunch of popcorn, so that one's pretty cool. And then I'm a big Star Wars fan, and at the launch bay at Hollywood Studios, there's a Star Wars pin trading board in the merchandise area, and the only way you can trade on it, though, is if you have a Star Wars pin to replace it with. So there are some catches to them, and the cast members are more than willing to tell you exactly what they are. So now you know what they look like, and you know what to look for in the parks. I bet you're wondering, how do you need to get started? So, of course, you're going to need some pins. You're going to need a lanyard. One of my lanyards looks like this. I bought it at Disney, and I just added my trader pins to it. You can get some of these things before you go. You can buy them directly from Disney in their shop online, or you can do some research and find them outside of Disney. You just have to, basically what I do is I just Google it. Or if you want to wait and get it while you're down there, you can do that too. You can I would suggest you to buy a starter pack, and basically that comes with a lanyard and anywhere between 4 to 6 pins. So this one was not a starter though. I just picked one of the lanyards that I liked and added my own pins to it. So now you have your pins, you got your lanyard, you have everything you need to pin trade. So where do you do this? If you're at Disney World, you can do it at any of the 4 parks. But at Epcot, they have a place called Penn Central, and it's located directly behind Spaceship Earth. And you can buy pins inside their little store, but what's cool about this place is they have tables set up outside, and a lot of the locals bring their own pins, and you can trade with them or just talk pins with them. I met a lot of people from Florida that have their pins set up there, but I've also met some people who bring their pins all the way from South Carolina. And I met a guy from Texas, and we talked about pins there. You can do it at any of the resorts. You can buy the pins from anywhere that sells merchandise, but a lot of the cast members that work inside those stores have them on their lanyards and on their pin boards inside those stores. You can do it at Disney Springs. A lot of the locals do it at Disney Springs because you don't have to have a ticket to get into Disney Springs. So there's a place that's located at Disney Springs called Disney Pin Traders, and it's a huge pin trading hub. It has all kinds of pins. Let's see. You know what you need. You know where to do it. So now you need to know how to do it. And this part is super easy. First, we'll talk about trading with a cast member, because that's typically what a lot of people do while they're down there. All you do is you approach a cast member that has their lanyard, and you just kind of ask them, hey, do you want to trade pins, or may I see your pins? And the cool thing about the cast members are they're not going to tell you no. So if there's a pin that you see that they have, all you do is you just trade them one of your pins for their pins. Another thing about them is they started doing this in the past few years, and it's pretty neat. It just adds a little extra magic to the whole experience. They have a thing called mystery pins. And basically, like, if you're looking at their lanyard, it just has all you can see is the back of their pen, and you're kind of like, hey, what is that pen? And that's what's known as a mystery pen. And so sometimes they'll say, hey, you just kind of have to go on faith and give me one of yours and see what you get. But some of them get kind of creative with it, and we came across some that will offer you a Disney trivia question, and if you get the question right, they'll show you what the pen is before. So we thought that was pretty cool. There is a huge difference in trading with a guest versus a cast member. So if you were to walk up to a Disney guest that has pens, they have every option to tell you no. So not everybody does. I'm not one of those people that tell you no, because I personally don't take my pens that I wouldn't be willing to trade in to the parks. So you won't know until you ask. There is a little bit of Disney lingo that you probably need to know before you go. So there's different types of pens, and one of them it's called open edition, and those are just your pens that are made that have like a lot of copies of it. Like I have one to show you right here, and it's basically just a little stitch pen. They're also known as rack pens. You can find them at just about any merchandise store down there. There's one called a limited release, and they're a little bit harder to find, but only because they're released at certain times of the year. Like this is one that we got at the Halloween party, and it was exclusive to the Halloween party, but there was a bunch of them there. So but you only get it at the Halloween party, so that's why it's called limited release. There's another one called limited edition, and these are the ones that are going to be a lot more hard to find, as well as years past, they increase in value. So, because I have some pens, like I forgot to tell you this at the beginning of my video, but I've been collecting pens since I was 12. So I have some pens that are not worth much at all except a bunch of good memories. And then I have some that are worth hundreds of dollars. So this is a hobby that is really good, for later down the road if you wanted to get rid of them. Some of them are worth a lot of money. But this is one of the limited edition pens, and it tells you at the bottom, limited edition. And they are a little more expensive, but like I said, later on down the road, they're worth a lot more money. So that's basically it in a nutshell on how to trade Disney pens, what you need to get started, where you can do it. We've been doing this a long time. Like I said, we took my first Disney World trip when I was 12, and I fell in love with pen trading then. And so now when we go, like everybody that I go with basically knows how to do it. Like they have their own set of pens, they have their own little lanyard, and we make a game out of it. We see how many pens we can leave with our favorite characters, and sometimes my group chooses different ones, but I don't. My favorite character is Stitch. I have a French Bulldog named Stitch, so he's by far my favorite character. My cousin Mary, she usually chooses the princess ones. My brother, he's a villain guy. He likes the villains. And my mom, well, she basically chooses any of them that's cute. That's the ones that she claims. So, but we make a game out of it when we go and just see how many that we can find. We're a Disney family. And like I said, when I was 12, I started collecting Disney pens, and my parents found a really unique way to incorporate it into our everyday lives. And I would get pens, not all throughout the year, but a pretty good bit. Like, I'll just be honest, school was not my favorite. So that was one of the rewards I got for good grades. I'd get them in my little Easter basket or at Christmas. So you can do Disney pens other than just while you're there. Let's see if anybody's got any questions before we finish. Mandy pointed out a really good thing. Yes, okay, so she said that it loves to teach kids manners and how to talk politely and talk to others and adults. I was very introverted when I was little. I was pretty shy. So we used this as a good way for me to be able to approach people that I typically didn't talk to and be able to interact with them. It also taught me patience because, let's face it, sometimes lines are long at Disney, and just like anything else, waiting in line to trade pens can be a long line too. So, it taught me to wait my turn and see what happens, and then it taught me how to interact with adults. I learned so much about other people and how they do pens. And then the only other thing that I could probably say before I end my video tonight is, after you've done all this, you're probably wondering, what do you do with your pens when you get home? Well, I have a bag, and this is what it looks like. I can show you real quick. I have several of these bags, but this is what my little bag looks like. I have some friends that display their pens on cork boards, and they cut out stuff on styrofoam, and they're displayed all throughout their house, so the possibilities really are endless. I also have a blog about this that's already written. If you need a reference guide, it's already up on our website at www.waltexpress.com. That's where you can find our blog. And the name of this one is Disney 101 Beginner's Guide to Pen Trading. So if you need to share that with somebody, please feel free. But I just want to thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope that you will continue to make us a part of your weekly routine. Tune in next week with one of our Walt Express members as they take you through some more Disney fun. Same channel, same time, 6 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, you can check us out at waltexpress.com. That's where our blog is located, and it has all kinds of awesome content already on there. We also have an Instagram account, and you can find it at Walt_Express, and then you can find me on Facebook, and my Facebook page is Walt Express Travel by Paten. I also have a personal Instagram account, and it's Paten_Williams. But anyway, thank you for spending your Martin Luther King Day here with me, and I really appreciate all the comments and the feedback. If you ask me a question and I haven't got to it yet, I will answer it as soon as I end this, but I hope to see you guys real soon.